İyi akşamlar, güzel enerjiler yolluyorum. Çok heyecanlı bir canlı yayınımız var bu akşam. Yorumları kapatıyorum. Çok özel konuğumla dünyanın diğer ucundan bize bağlanacak özel konuğumuzla D&R Kitap Fuarı kapsamında özel bir canlı yayın yapacağız. Heyecan çok dorukta. Aslında dün yapacaktık bu canlı yayını. Teknik bir bilemediğimiz sebepten dolayı bağlanamadık yüz yüze o ünlü yazarla. Ben biraz bilgi vermek istiyorum konuğum kim. Gerçi bir süredir duyurularını yapıyoruz D&R'dan, kendi hesaplarımızdan. Pek çok kişi bu heyecanlı, büyük canlı yayını duyuruyor. Dünyaca ünlü yazar, şifrelerin efendisi, Da Vinci Code, Da Vinci Şifresi, Melekler ve Şeytanlar, Cehennem gibi romanların, dünya çapında çok satan kitapların yazarı Dan Brown. Evet, Dan Brown az sonra D&R Dünyası Instagram canlı yayında bizlerle buluşacak. Türk okuyucularıyla, Türk hayranlarıyla bir araya gelecek. Bu gecenin, bu akşamın moderatörü benim. Ben Ece Vahapoğlu, sunucuyum. Ben de bir yazarım. 10 tane kitabım var. Bir romanım ve diğerleri hep kişisel gelişim kitapları. Ben de D&R Dünyası'nda zaman zaman hem söyleşilere hem imza günlerine hem de bu şekilde canlı yayınlara katılıyorum. Anneyim. Çok yeni bir anneyim. 11 aylık oğlum var. O şimdi uyuyor ama mesela Dan Brown'un son kitabı, bugün bahsedeceğimiz, konuşacağımız kitabını ona okumaya başladım. Sunuculuk, yazarlık, annelik ve bu akşamın şanslı kişisi Dan Brown'la söyleşi yapacak olan. 7 romandan sonra ilk kez bir çocuk kitabı yazdı Dan Brown. Biliyorsunuz Dan Brown'un birçok filmi de Hollywood filmlerine uyarlandı. Tom Hanks'in başrolde oynadığı. Yeni kitabı Dan Brown'un Hayvanlar Senfonisi, Türkiye'deki adı, Türkçe ismi. Altın Kitaplardan çıktı Eylül ayında, çok yeni bir kitap. Wild Symphony, orijinal İngilizce adı. Sesli, müzikli ve resimli bir çocuk kitabı. Çocuk kitabı diyorum ama sadece çocuklar için değil, yetişkinler için de, aileler için de müthiş mesajlar olan, çok bence spiritüel, ruhsal yönü de olan harika bir kitap. Mutlaka edinin. Bunu söylemek istiyorum. Dan Brown sadece bu kitaptaki metinleri yazmadı. Şiirsel de bir kitap, şiirsel bir dille yazdı. İçindeki müzikleri de, klasik müzikleri de besteledi. Evet, kendisi piyano tutkunu, piyano çalıyor. Bu kitap şu şekilde bir kitap. Burada müzik enstrümanları var. Daha sonra kitabımız başlıyor. Maestro Fare ana karakter ve sayfalar böyle. Ayrıca bu kitapla birlikte ücretsiz bir uygulamayla QR koddan indiriyorsunuz burada. Cep telefonunuza, akıllı telefonunuza indirdiğiniz zaman sayfalarda gezinirken her sayfa için özel bestelenen müziği, eseri de dinliyorsunuz. Gerçekten çok güzel, teknolojiyle iç içe geçmiş bir kitap. Kitabın arka kapağında, benim oğlum da sık sık gösteriyor, hikayelerimi de paylaştım. Dan Brown ve köpeği Winston burada. Böyle parmağıyla diye gösteriyor. Ve burada asıl güzel olan Dan Brown 3 yaşında piyano çalarken. Evet, bu kitabı çok fazlaca konuşacağız. Çok yeni çocuk kitabı. Tabii ki yetişkin kitaplarını da soracağım ona. İstanbul'u soracağım. Türk okuyucularını soracağım. Bu kitapla ilgili hayal edilen bir tabii ki kitap tanıtım, kitap turu vardı. Ve belki de çeşitli ülkelerde büyük senfonilerle, orkestralarla konserler hayal ediliyordu. Ancak hepimizin dünyaca geçtiği, global olarak geçtiğimiz pandemi sürecinden dolayı bu gerçekleşemedi. O yüzden de okurlarıyla online olarak canlı yayınlarda buluşuyor Dan Brown ve Türkiye'de de ilk kez canlı yayınını D&R Dünyası ile D&R Kitap Fuarı kapsamında yapıyor. D&R Kitap Fuarı yeni başladı. Çok da güzel bir kampanya var. Burada hepimiz okuyucular, kitap severler olarak buluşuyoruz. Bir kitap alıyorsunuz, ikinci kitabı aldığınızda %50 indirim var. Böyle müthiş bir kampanya var. Bence bu hafta bunu da kaçırmayın, D&R mağazalarında %50 indirimi. Canlı yayınımız D&R Dünyası hesabında olacak. Author Dan Brown hesabıyla, Dan Brown'la az sonra Amerika'dan bize bağlanacak 7 saat farkımız var. Söyleşimiz İngilizce olacak. Ben kendisiyle İngilizce konuşacağım. Ancak böyle aralarda özet, önemli kısımları hemen hızlıca Türkçe'ye çevireceğim sizler için. Fakat akabinde zaten Instagram'da bu yayını paylaşacağız. D&R ekibi de Türkçe altyazılı olarak sizlere ayrıca hazırlayacak. Hem Instagram'da hem de D&R'ın YouTube kanalında izleyebileceksiniz, seyredebileceksiniz daha sonra. Çok çok heyecanlı, güzel bir yayın ama canlı yayına şahit olan insanlar bence çok şanslılar. Sonrasında da tekrar izlenebilir. Bence eminim benim hani o gazeteciliğimden, araştırmacı yönümden de gelen bir şey. Eminim haber olacak. Detayları da yakalayacağız bu röportajda. Ben de bir yazar olarak aslında bu kadar yani dünyaca ünlü çok satan bir yazarın yazma sürecini, fikirlerin oluşma, işte araştırma yaparken nasıl zorluklarla karşılaşıyor, ne kadar emek zaman veriyor. Tüm bunları dinlemek için, öğrenmek için sabırsızlanıyorum. Dünden beri çok sorular geliyor D&R Dünyası hesabına. Dan Brown'a şunları sorun diye. Yeni kitap geliyor mu? Tabii ki onu da soracağım. Müzik tutkusunu soracağım. Neden çocuk kitabı yazdığını, neden müzik ve teknolojinin bu kitapta birleştiğini, içindeki mesajları, mesela işte kahramanlar var, çeşitli hayvanlar ve bu hayvanların farklı özellikleri, farklı yaşadıkları habitatlar var, farklı kendilerine has özellikler var. Neden onları seçti? İçindeki mesajlar, benim de kendimce okuduğum, edindiğim biraz izlenimler var. O izlenimleri de sormak istiyorum. Ve tabii ki bu kitap, farkındaysanız, pandemi sürecinde global geçirdiğimiz zorluğu, hani hepimizin aylardır evde olduğu bir dönemde çıktı. Şans ve şanssızlık bir arada belki de. Çünkü aileler çocuklarıyla kaliteli vakit geçirmek için, birlikte eğlenmek için bu kitapla hem okuyabilir hem çocuklarına klasik müziği öğretebilir. Bunu sormak istiyorum. Nasıl geri dönüşler oluyor bu süreçle ilgili? O neler yapıyor? Pandemi sürecini nasıl geçiriyor? Nasıl yazıyor? Fikirleri nasıl ilham oluyor? Tabii vaktimiz kalırsa yani yazı ortamını, işte yazarken ne yiyor, ne içiyor, onları da her şeyi çok merak ediyorum araştırma süreciyle ilgili. Bütün hepsini kendisine soracağım. 1-2 dakika sonra yayına alıyorum. Umarım bugün teknik sorun yaşanmayacak. Dün onların tarafında, yani Amerika tarafında bir sorun yaşanmıştı ama bugün biz testimizi yaptık. Ufacık da olsa bağlanabildik. Ben çünkü kıyafetimin aynısını giydim. Sizler için hazırlandım. Çok da heyecanlı. Dün de esprili oldu okuyucularla. Dan Brown bu arada dün 1 saat 45 dakika yayında kaldı. Yüz yüze bağlanamadık. En sonunda evet bağlandık. Şanslı bir grup var onu izleyen. Ama o da yazdı. Buradan Türk okuyucularına çok sevgilerini yolladı. İstanbul'u ne kadar sevdiğini söyledi. Ayrıca dedik işte 7 yaşındaki bir çocuğun çözebileceği bir durumdayız. Çözemiyorum, inanamıyorum. Teknolojiyle böyle bir kodla ilgili problemler oldu diye çok espriler oldu. Birçok Türk okuyucu, gençler özellikle Dan Brown'la birebir yazışma, burada mesajlaşma hissini, duygusunu, deneyimini yaşadı. Bir yandan da aslında keyifliydi. Ben hani sabırla bekledim. Pek çok herkese teşekkür ediyorum bekleyen. Sabırla 2 saate yakın burada binlerce kişi bekledi dün. Dan Brown da bekledi ve dedi ki sabır bir erdemdir dedi. Sabrınız için hepinize çok teşekkür ediyorum dedi ve bağlanamadığı için de bu teknik sorunu o da çözememişti. Özür diledi ama bizimle kaldı hep. Böyle bir deneyim yaşadık. Hatta espri yapıyorum ben, Merkür Retrosu mu yine diye. Böyle teknik aksaklıklar oluyormuş. Bilemiyoruz. Böyle bir, demek ki kaderimizde deneyim yaşamak varmış. Evet, yavaş yavaş süremiz geliyor. Ben kendisini yayına alacağım. Arada da suyumu içeyim. Tekrar hatırlatmak istiyorum. İngilizce olacak söyleşi. Aralarda Türkçe'ye çevireceğim. Now I'm going to invite Dan Brown to our session. We're very excited to finally meet Dan Brown. Hopefully. Oh, yes, yes. Hi, Dan.
All right. Now we don't even have to have an interview. We are geniuses. We finally figured it out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know what? I was very excited and a little bit nervous yesterday for this interview. But then having this chat for almost 2 hours and this funny messages, now I feel so comfortable today. You know, I put my son to sleep very easily. I didn't have to rush. I said, okay, I know my questions and everything. So
Excellent.
it was a challenge, but it was an experience that actually helped.
I'm glad. Me too.
So how are you?
You know what? The world's upside down at the moment, but life is still very good. Very
That's
grateful
good.
for all that is good in the world. How are
Are
you?
you an optimistic person?
Uh,
Are you saying that?
yes,
Like,
I've always been a very optimistic person. I had wonderful parents. When I was a little kid, we didn't have a TV,
oh,
and my parents didn't want to have TV,
on
and
purpose?
they
Okay.
on purpose. And so I spent my time listening to their classical music collection and
Uh-huh.
reading Dr. Seuss books, the children's books by Dr. Seuss.
Uh-huh.
And those are some of my fondest memories.
That's
And I
cool.
had a very, very pleasant, optimistic childhood.
Okay, I'll translate some of the parts very quickly to Turkish.
Sure.
Dan Brown optimistik olduğunu ve şu anda ne kadar dünya zorlu bir zamandan geçse de keyfinin yerinde olduğunu söyledi. Çünkü dedi zaten dedi küçükken dedi benim anne ve babam özellikle eve televizyon almadı. Biz televizyon izlemedik. Onun yerine klasik müzik dinledik ve çocuk kitapları okudum dedi. I feel very privileged and excited to talk to you, talk with you, and to share our thoughts on your new book, Wild Symphony. I love it. I read it to my little son. I explained a little bit about this book, but well, before this book, I want to ask you, well, you're an author and you write best-selling novels that would make you stay at home for days, months, and maybe for years. So somehow you're used to staying at home, I guess. But still, how are you coping with the COVID pandemic days?
Right. Well, as you say, I mean, this is not that different for me. Novelists are lucky when it comes to COVID because we're very used to working at home and
Mm-hmm.
being alone. So the real challenge has been that I travel a lot for research,
Mm-hmm.
and travel, of course, has gotten much more difficult. And my only recreation when I'm at home at night was to go out with friends to restaurants. And of course, that doesn't happen anymore. So I've learned how to cook.
Oh,
Not
okay.
not very well, but my
You
friends are
survive.
patient. Yeah, I survive. I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you cook mostly? What do you like?
I like fish, and
Fish?
I have a tiny little vegetable garden, and I
Oh, okay.
grill vegetables and that sort of thing.
Okay, very fresh from the garden. Bu pandemi dönemiyle nasıl geçirdiğini sordum. Çünkü bir yazar olarak zaten hani günlerce, aylarca evde kalıyor. Benim için çok zor olmadı. Zaten biz yazarlar, roman yazarları evde kalıyoruz. Sadece araştırmalarım için çok seyahat ediyordum. Onları yapamıyorum bu dönemde dedi. Ve arkadaşlarımla restorana gidiyordum akşamları. Onu yapamıyorum. Ama yemek yapmayı öğrendim dedi. Balık ve sebze yapıyormuş. So we love your amazing books. The main character of Robert Langdon's adventures. Now it's the first time you published a children's book, and it's not only a picture book. It's a musical book. Plus, it's incorporated with technology that has a free app with a QR code. It enables us to hear the music hidden throughout the book. I can simply ask, why children's book? Why now? And why did you decide to combine music and technology with the book?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a child at heart. I think we all have a little bit of child still in us, even as adults.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, the world felt. I'll speak personally. My world felt like it needed something simple and pure and optimistic. I mean, I write
Mm-hmm.
pretty complicated, sometimes kind of dark books,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and and I wanted to
really.
spend some time, in a world that from my childhood brought back just fantastic memories
Mm-hmm.
of music and pictures. And so it's interesting. It used to, maybe 10 years ago, if we had done this book, there would be a CD inserted into the
Mm-hmm.
book, but we don't have CD players anymore. And so I worked with a team of just wonderful technicians to build an app
Mm-hmm.
that you just hold it over the book and it plays the
Yeah.
right song.
Yeah.
So
Let me just show once again. Burada bir QR kod var ve bu QR kodla içindeki müzikleri dinliyorsunuz. 10 sene önce bu kitabı yazsaydım belki içine kitabın CD koyardık ama şimdi teknoloji var. App yerleştirdik. Bir de biliyorsunuz ki ben bazı karanlık konuları da işlediğim için biraz o dünyadan uzaklaşıp çocukluğuma gitmek istedim ve çocukluğumun mutlu hatıralarını yeniden yaşamak istedim. O yüzden bir çocuk kitabı yazdım dedi. Well, your passion for music emerges in this book, obviously. There's a picture of you playing the piano when you're only 3 years old, here at the back of the book.
yes.
And you're not an author, but also a composer. How did your passion for music start, and how much of this passion finds place in your life now?
Well, the passion started because my mom was a professional musician. She was a professional pianist and organist. And as a little kid, she taught me music, and I learned a lot of music sitting in church on the organ bench with her. She played at our church every Sunday.
Oh, okay.
And I had to turn the pages. So I had to read
okay.
the music and turn it at the right moment. And if I was too early,
Wow.
it was bad. If I was too late, it was bad. And so I learned how to read music at a young age and really loved music has this ability to make us emotional, whether it's happy or sad or excited. Mm-hmm. It ties in directly to our souls on some level that science doesn't really understand. Mm-hmm. Why, if you arrange frequencies in a certain way and they hit your brain, that you get happy or you want to move your body or whatever it is. So there's always been a little bit of magic for me when it comes to music, and I think a lot of people share that.
Okay, and how does it find place now in your life? Do you play the piano?
I play the piano every day.
Every day?
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. I work in one side of the house on writing, on novels, and as I move back into the real world, I pass the piano and I'll stop and I'll play for maybe half an hour as a way to just re-enter the real world after spending a long time in the fictional world. I've been writing music since I was a little kid. I've been writing. I mean, nobody knows I've been writing because I don't advertise the fact. Yeah. But I've been writing music a long time.
Okay, let me just translate this very quickly. Müzik tutkusunu sordum, ne zaman başladığını. Çok küçükken başlamış çünkü annesi zaten profesyonel bir piyanistmiş ve kilisede her pazar annesi piyano çalarken küçükten de oturup sayfaları çevirirmiş annesi çalarken. O yüzden çok küçük yaşta piyano çalmaya ve bestelemeye başlamış ve günlük yaşantısında da her gün en az yarım saat piyano çalıyormuş. Evinin bir köşesinde yazılarını yazıyor. O kurgudan çıkıp gerçek dünyaya geçmek için de piyano çaldığı bir bölüm varmış. So, what and who would you become of if you were not this worldly renowned Dan Brown?
Wow.
The author.
Well, as a child, I wanted to be an architect. I love architecture, but I didn't have any skill for drawing. I was terrible. So I knew I couldn't be an architect. I think music would definitely be part of my world. If I could do absolutely anything I wanted. I love teaching also. I've been a teacher. And really enjoy that.
Where did you teach? When did you teach?
I've taught everything from kids who are 12 years old all the way through university. And I've taught Spanish. I lived in Spain for a while, so my Spanish is pretty good. And I've taught English. I've taught literature. I've taught creative writing.
That's cool. I would like that you would be my English teacher. That would be cool. Kim olmak isterdi diye sordum Dan Brown olmasaydı. Küçükken mimar olmak istiyormuş ama çizim yeteneği olmadığı için bu hayalinden vazgeçmiş ama bir şekilde müzikle ilgili bir şeyler yapmak isterdim ve öğretmen olmak isterdim dedi ki zaten hayatının bir döneminde de öğretmenlik yapmış. So, did you write as a child?
Yes.
You have...
Yeah, I wrote at 5 years old. I wrote
5.
a book.
Okay.
5. So I couldn't actually write. So I dictated the story to my mother. She wrote it down and I did the pictures. And it's called The Giraffe, the Pig, and the Pants on Fire.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do something I've never ever done in an interview. Okay, I hope it's gonna work. I'm gonna pick this phone up and walk to the other side and show you a secret bookcase behind which is the book I wrote when I was 5 years old.
Oh my God.
All right,
Okay, let's do it.
We'll see if it works. Here we go.
Okay. Şimdi hiçbir daha önce yapmadığı bir şey yapıyor. Evinde 5 yaşındayken yazdığı hikayeyi gösterecek. Dan Brown'un ilk yazdığı şeyi izliyoruz. Orada bir gizli alan var.
Can you see?
Yes. Are you gonna
Okay.
open? Okay.
So the wall opens.
Okay.
And back here is, or in the Da Vinci Code.
Dolabın
Mickey
içini
Mouse
açtı.
watch.
Ay, çok heyecanlı.
Can you
Oh,
see
that's
it?
a watch. Okay.
Right
Yes.
there?
Yes.
Okay. There is the cryptex from the Da Vinci Code.
Oh, okay. You're showing those. Okay. Da Vinci Code'dan kripto, evet, burada var.
Yeah. Right here is, this is the antimatter canister from Angels and Demons.
Melekler ve Şeytanlar filminden diyorum, kitabından.
And right
Oh,
there
bütün o
is
parçalar odasında.
the giraffe, the pig, and the pants on fire.
Oh my God, that's the masterpiece. Bu da 5 yaşındayken Dan Brown'un, ya, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Wow. It's really like your stories, your house.
It is actually. This is a house that Robert Langdon would live in.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. Evet, ana karakteri Robert Langdon'un yaşayacağı bir evde yaşıyormuş aslında kendisi de. Dolabın, kapının arkasında gizli bir dolap var. Hiçbir röportajda göstermediği birkaç önemli eşyayı gösterdi romanlarındaki Da Vinci Code'dan Melekler ve Şeytanlara kadar ve en önemlisi de 5 yaşındayken yazdığı hikayeyi zürafa, domuz ve yanan pantolon yanan pantolonlar, evet. Bir hikaye yazmış, söylemiş, annesi yazmış, o da resmetmiş. Have you ever thought of publishing it?
No.
Why not?
Some publishers have asked.
Yeah.
You know, the honest answer is it's really, really bad.
Oh, come. But still.
I was only 5 years old. It barely makes sense. You know, there's
you
a
can
giraffe,
update
a pig.
You can
I guess I
update the
could.
story.
I could. It's about 3 friends who take an adventure. It's a giraffe, a pig, and a pair of pants that are on fire. And the pants can talk and think. I don't know why, but they can. It's
It was obvious you were gonna become a big novelist.
Yeah, I guess so.
5 yaşındayken yazdığı hikayeyi bazı yayıncılar istemiş basmak için ama çok kötü diyor, o yüzden basmayacağım diyor. Şimdi tüm dünyanın geçtiği farklı süreci sormak istiyorum kendisine. Well, congratulations for the effort you have put into this book that helps the whole family to have a fun together and to share quality time together in this worldwide difficult, challenging days. And we hunkered down for many months. I don't think you foresaw this COVID days while you were preparing your book. What kind of feedback do you get during these challenging days, and also from families? What kind of help does your book provide to them?
Well, you know, it's funny because it's the sort I'm getting just such wonderful feedback from parents and also from teachers. You know, who are using it to teach online. And parents have told me that it's just wonderful to have something quiet that's not television, that's not a video game, but that the kids enjoy and they can learn something from. I mean, depending on your age group, you could maybe just learn what a kangaroo looks like, or you may be able to take the spiritual message or the morals of each story. There are codes on every page that kids like playing with. There's a busy bee, a bee, the insect bee that's flying around on every page. He's hidden on every single page. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I read this. Okay. Oh, I saw the bee here.
Yep. So exactly. On every page there is a bee hiding.
Oh, but you just told it. Did you just tell?
No, you just have to find it. It's on every single page.
Okay, but it's not mentioned in the book. I mean,
you just have to find it. You just have to realize it.
Now we know it. Okay. I will make my son to. Okay, and what will happen with the letters? It's a code.
Yeah, it's a code. So you find all the letters, then you rearrange them uh, into a word that's relevant to what's happening on the page.
Okay. Let me translate this very quickly. Bu dönemde tabii yani Covid pandemi olacağını dünyada bilmiyordu yazarken. Nasıl geri dönüşler aldığını sordum. Özellikle öğretmenlerden ve ailelerden çok iyi geri dönüş alıyormuş. Çünkü televizyon değil, video oyunu değil, sakin bir şekilde çocuklar hem müzik dinliyor hem sayfaların içindeki gizli harfleri bularak kodlara ulaşıyor. Bir de ben de fark etmemiştim okurken, her sayfada minik bir arı varmış. O da güzel olacak. Well, I read your book myself, and then to my son. My son is very little, only 11 months old, not even 1 year old. But I read him since he was born. Even when I was pregnant, I would play him classic music.
Oh, great.
Now, while he looks at the pictures in your book, I can play also classic music for him. I realize like kids will hear classic music and learn more about it because there are the names of the instruments here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're teaching them, well, instead of watching TV or playing on tablets, the messages you give in this book are also relevant to adults too. I see this book really a spiritual book, and you touch our hearts. Did you aim to be useful for both kids and parents?
I think the answer is yes. I really try to write the book that I myself would want to read. And so part of me was trying to create the book that as a 7-year-old I would have loved. Like this would have been my favorite book as a kid. That's the book I'm trying to write. And simultaneously, I wanted to write a book that felt relevant to the real world and myself as an adult. And I tried to walk that line where a parent, these morals are not complicated. We've heard them all before, but sometimes even as adults, we need to be reminded. The ostrich tells us it's okay to take some time alone. If you're stressed out, put your head in the sand. It's okay. And that's something that adults can certainly be reminded of.
Okay, that's very cool. That's what I thought, but let me just translate this. Kitap hem çocuklar hem yetişkinler için bence spiritüel de bir kitap. Bunu sordum kendisine. Evet dedi. Yani ben kendim 7 yaşında bir çocuk olsaydım nasıl bir kitap okumak isterdim? Onu yazdım ama aynı zamanda biz yetişkinlerin de bildiği ama unuttuğu bilgileri kitabın içine yerleştirdim dedi. Like all the animals in the book with their behaviors and their habitats be considered as a reference to the different cultures living living together in our world. Like, can we say that we're not the same and we don't have to be the same, but together we form a symphony?
You know what? I love the way you just said that. It is absolutely the message of the book. And what's interesting is the very first song that I created was Frogs in a Bog. And it happened, I was out walking near a lake and I heard bullfrogs singing. So the big frogs and little frogs and frogs in the middle, all different shapes and sizes and colors. And they were making music together. They seemed to be reacting to each other. And so I wrote this little poem and this little music to mimic and sort of reflect on that experience. And the message was quite simply that we're all different sizes and shapes and colors. But if we work together, we can make beautiful music. And that became, as you just so eloquently said, really the underlying theme of the book.
That's amazing. Şeyi sormak istedim. Şimdi her hayvanın kendine has özellikleri var. Acaba bunlar birlikte bir senfoni mi oluşturuyorlar diye gerçekten vermek istediği mesajın bu olduğunu söyledi ve yani kitabı yazmadan önce bir göl kenarından geçerken kurbağaları duymuş. Büyük kurbağa, küçük kurbağa, ortadaki kurbağa ve sanki birbirlerine bir şeyler söylüyorlar, şarkı söylüyorlar gibi gelmiş ve bunu bestelemiş. Diyor ki hani şeklimiz, rengimiz ne olursa olsun hepimiz birlikte bir müzik oluşturuyoruz diye. Kitapta da o sayfayı bulup hemen size göstermek istiyorum. Frogs Here. İşte burada bestelediği ve yazdığı şiir. Dan Brown'un gerçekten çok özel bir kitap. I think this work is a reference and message to the today's human society, increasing violence. It offers us necessary message in our lives. We knew and we forgot, as you said before. For example, not to give up, or sometimes to give space to our minds. Also gives messages in many pages to calm down to the children through a whale, swan, ostrich, or stingray fish. Do you agree with that? Do you want the children to like to calm down?
No, well, you know what I mean. That's not the only message.
Okay.
You know, some of the messages say like, "Hey, you know, life's simple. Just you know, if you're a happy hippo, you don't need the world. All you need is just some seaweed to munch on, and you should be happy."
Mm-hmm.
And I tend to think of this book as, you know, what I always write when I sign the book is, life is a symphony, go wild.
Okay, that would
You
be
know,
a good movie poster tagline. I was
yeah,
going to ask.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, I do think that it's important for children, especially now. They have so much stimulation. There's so much input that they get all day from technology.
Mm-hmm.
That it is important to slow down and to clear your head and to take a minute for yourself. So I mean, you're right. That is a recurring theme.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Oh, does he find children noisy? Okay, I'll just translate very quickly. Kitapta çok fazla güzel yani mesajlar var. Özellikle işte sakin olun, bazen uzaklaşın gibi. Şeyi sordum, hani çocukları çok mu hani sakin kalın mesajı vermek istiyorsunuz diye, hem yetişkinlere hem çocuklara. Evet dedi, çünkü çocuklar çok teknolojiyle donanmış durumdalar ve arada sakinleşmelerini söylemek, çünkü çok fazla gün içinde hani bilgi bombardımanı oluyor teknoloji. O yüzden evet dedi. The wonderful message keeps appearing in your book is music is our common language and culture. Fulfills an incredibly valuable mission. Do we expect similar messages from Dan Brown's new children's books as well as your adult books? And do you have a plan to write more children's books?
At the moment, I do not have a plan to write more children's books. That's not to say that I won't. At the moment, I'm working on another Robert Langdon thriller.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
But it's kind of, you know, you just said something that was very astute, that music is a universal language. And it's kind of interesting. So kids in Turkey will read a poem in Turkish, and the words are totally different, and the meanings may even be a little bit different. The experience of reading the poetry is different. But when it comes to music, kids in Turkey and kids in the US hear the exact same thing. And it doesn't matter where we're from, we all hear music in the same way. It very much is a universal language. You know, we need more universal languages at the moment.
Okay. Müzik bizim genel bir kültürümüz ve dilimiz mi diye sordum. Evet dedi. Aynen öyle. Çok evrensel bir dil dedi. Çünkü bu kitap şiirsel bir şekilde yazılmış, İngilizce yazılmış. Ama hani Türkiye'deki Türk bir çocuk okuduğunda kendine göre hani kelimelerle belki biraz oynandığı için anlayacaktır. Ama bir müziği Amerika'daki bir çocuk da Türkiye'deki bir çocuk da aynı şekilde anlayacaktır ve dünyamızda daha çok evrensel dile, evrensel müziğe ihtiyacımız var dedi. Okay, why did you choose a mouse as the main character, Maestro, rather than a mightier and maybe popular, for example, a lion or a pet animal for this book? Though he's very cute. And which animal is your favorite as a character in the book?
Well, I chose Maestro Mouse because it's funny. An orchestra conductor needs to be big. He needs to be visible. He needs to be able to make a lot of big motions.
Yes.
And I just thought the idea of a mouse conducting an orchestra to me was amusing, especially if, you know, you've got an elephant in the front row. I just thought it was funny. So that's why I chose the mouse. And you know what? As far as favorite animal, I do really like busy beetles. I just, for the poem in English is kind of amusing, and I just like, I don't know why, I've just always liked that particular page.
Okay, was it the Busy Beetles? Okay, yes, this page, right?
That's it.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll just translate it quickly.
Okay.
Neden bir fareyi ana karakter olarak, orkestra şefi olarak seçtiğini, maestro olarak seçtiğini sordum. Çünkü komik dedi, çünkü küçücük dedi. Orkestra şefinin hani daha böyle gösterişli, büyük olması beklenir ama ben komik olduğu için fareyi seçtim dedi. Kitaptaki en sevdiği karakteri sordum. O da çalışkan böcekler olduğunu söyledi. Çalışkan böcekler minik ayaklarıyla durmadan toprağa eşeler. Buradaki böcekler onun en favori karakter hayvanıymış. Codes and mysteries are in the heart of your novels. You're visionary and in a sense futuristic writer. Was it your idea to use technology so effectively in a children's book, or is there a team planning this? And are you planning to write books where other technologies are used, or more of your talents will appear?
You know, the idea to use technology was indeed mine. I don't have the skill to create the app, but I worked with a company and very created this app in a very specific way. I designed it. I wanted it to be really simple, really easy to use, and I wanted to be very sure that it didn't detract from the reading experience. I didn't want people they're supposed to be reading a book and listening, not lost in their phones. So the idea is that you just hold it over the book. It doesn't play videos, it doesn't do anything, it just plays the music. And because we can do so much in applications now, I mean, there was this constant pressure to like, well, we could have Q&A, we could have videos, we could have animated Maestro Mouse directing and it's like, no, it's about a book and music, and that's it. And I was really happy with the way the app came out.
Okay. Will you use more of these in your upcoming books in the future?
It's possible. And, you know, I mean, the technology is changing and apps can do more and more. So it is possible. I'm not sure. No plans at the moment.
Okay. Maybe it might give you an idea. I don't know. Well, we know you play the piano very well. It's your childhood passion. If you're asked, would you play the piano at a concert?
Right now?
Yeah.
No, not.
No, I mean not right now. I mean like
okay.
In general today.
Sure. Why not? Yeah, I would.
Okay, you would.
Yeah. If you were polite enough to listen, I would certainly play.
Oh, come on. I'm sure you're playing every day. Okay, that would be very interesting. And promoting a children's book with concerts all over the world means a lot of effort and organization. There must be an enormous amount of work to be done behind the scenes. Do all these creative ideas come from a team, or they're like or is it you who lead the way?
Oh, I mean, there's a team. Every success is a group effort. I work very hard, but I obviously can't do everything, and I don't have the expertise to market books or draw these beautiful illustrations. And there are a lot, and you know, I have a great editor that I work with. So there's a lot to keeping these books going throughout the world and spreading them across the world. So I'm very grateful. I just have fantastic people around me. We all have a passion to make sure that readers are getting exactly what they want and that they're happy with the experience. And I'm just grateful, you know, every one of your fans who is watching right now is someone who, if they've gotten one of my books, is someone who lets me do what I want to do with my life and be creative. So I'm very grateful to everyone.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I'll just translate. Dedim ki bir kitap tanıtmak dünya çapında çok büyük bir efor. Bunun arkasında bir takım mı var, yoksa hani fikirler hep sizden mi geliyordu? Ben çok çalışkanım ama tabii ki arkamda çok iyi bir ekibim var yıllardır. Kitabın pazarlanmasından bu teknoloji app'in oluşturulmasına kadar ve kitaptaki tabii çizimlerin yapılmasına kadar biz bir takım şeklinde başarılı oluyoruz dedi. Like your adult books, this new book also have hidden codes and puzzles for children. Do you want to teach them about puzzles and codes from early age?
Yes.
And, yes?
Of course.
So they will be your future readers.
Well, I hadn't thought that far ahead, but that's a very good idea. So,
yeah, why not? Companies, brands.
Right. I know. I need you on my branding team now. You know, it's funny. I don't know if you've heard the story, but when I was a child, on Christmas morning, we generally come down and there are presents under our
Yeah.
Christmas tree. That's generally how we do it.
Mhm.
But in our house, you'd come down, there were no presents. There was just a code or a riddle or a puzzle that you had to solve, and it would maybe send you to the kitchen. And you go to the kitchen, you look in the refrigerator, and there's another code. And maybe it sends you out to the garage and sends you all over until finally it tells you where your presents are. And so codes and treasure hunts were always a lot of fun for me. I have a very fond memory of them. And there's something about the human mind that loves solving codes. It's why we do crossword puzzles. That's why we do jigsaw puzzles. That there's just something fun about saying, I found the right piece. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool. Kitaplarında hep biliyorsunuz şifreler, kodlar var. Çocuk kitabında da niye bunu yaptığını bu kadar erken zamandan hani onlara erken yaşlarda kodları mı öğretmek istiyor ve hatta sizin gelecekteki potansiyel okuyucularınız mı olacak dedim. O kısmını düşünmemiştim. Güzel fikirmiş dedi. Ama evet kodları koymuş ve küçükken kendi evlerinde de işte yılbaşında Noel'de yılbaşı ağacının, Noel ağacının altında biliyorsunuz hediyeler olur. Onların evinde öyle olmazmış. Bir kod olurmuş. O kod mutfağa gönderilmiş. Mutfak garaja derken o şekilde hediyeye ulaşırlarmış. İnsanoğlunun doğasında var bir bulmaca çözmek dedi. Are they hard for the kids to find the codes in this book?
No, I mean they're challenging, but there are many different kinds of codes. One code could just be, have fun trying to find the bee. For a young child, just find the bee. For children that might be a little bit older, you can find all the letters on every page, and if you pull them out, they spell the name of an instrument from the orchestra. Each page spells a different instrument from the orchestra. There's a secret code on the first page that I don't think anybody will see, but it's a lot of
First
fun.
page of this page, or
it's the page where it credits my mother. I think it's at the very top where I say this book is dedicated.
Oh, okay, here. Okay, here.
Yep.
Probably.
And if you see, there is some very faint music behind it. You see the notes on the scale?
Yes.
Those notes, if you read music, the notes are C, G, and B. And my mother is Constance Gerhard Brown, CGB.
Oh, okay. Yes. Wow. Okay, I'll just tell this. Kitaptaki kodlar çocuklar için zor mu diye sordum. Aslında kolay ama çocukların yaşlarına göre, yani küçük bir çocuğa hadi sayfadaki küçük arıyı bul diyebilirsin ama daha büyük bir çocuğa sayfalardaki harfleri bul, harfleri çıkar ve bu harflerden bir kelime bul ve bu kelime bir müzik enstrümanı olacak orkestrada diyebilirsin dedi. Bir de asıl kitabın ilk sayfasında gizli bir şifre var dedi. Şu anda canlı yayında ben de öğrendim, fark etmemiştim. Burada kendisinin yazdığı ve annesine teşekkür ettiği, annesinin de ona teşekkür ettiği bir bölüm var. Burada da notalar var. Müzik okuyabiliyorsanız, notaları okuyabiliyorsanız annesinin adının ve soyadının baş harflerine ulaşıyor musunuz? Yes, you definitely love codes. And instead of a plain writing, you wrote this new book in a poetic language. Well, you wrote it originally in English, then it has been translated into different languages all over the world, again poetically. Was it challenging for you to write a children's book and poems at the same time?
It really wasn't. I read so much poetry as a kid. The Dr. Seuss's poetry, Ogden Nash's poetry. I just and plus being a musician, I have meter in my head. So poetry is something I'm very familiar with and wrote a lot of as a kid. And also I have written a lot of songs, not just classical music, but songs and that have meter, and it's poetry to music really is all a song is. So I didn't find it difficult. Well, the thing that was challenging is just getting the words right, making sure that the rhythms and the meter was absolutely perfect, because young children, they need that. They need to be able to follow it. It can't be right sometimes and not right other times. So I was very, very careful about that.
Okay. Kitabında şiirsel bir dil var. Onu sordum zor muydu diye. Hayır değil dedi. Zaten ben şiir yazıyorum ve senelerdir şarkı besteliyorum. Dolayısıyla buna aşikarım dedi. So what's your favorite part of Wild Symphony?
Wow. Well, my favorite part of most books is writing the words "the end," uh,
Hmm.
but that's my favorite part of writing a novel. But in this
Okay.
book, I think my favorite part was working with a live orchestra to record the music. It was
Uh-huh.
an experience that I'd never had. As a novelist, I work alone.
Mhm.
And with this children's book, I was working with an illustrator. I was working with 86 musicians,
Mhm.
4 technicians, 3 producers, a conductor. And so it was this wonderful collaboration, which I don't usually get to do. So it was nice. Now
Okay.
that I'm back, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Please finish.
I was just going to say that now that I'm back writing a novel, I'm very lonely. It's like where are all the people that I'm supposed to be working with?
Now you're gonna get used to write children's book.
I know.
Hayvanlar Senfonisi kitabında en sevdiği bölümü sordum. Dedi ki ben genelde hani hep tek başıma yazıyorum, yalnızım. İlk defa bu kitapta çok bir kalabalık içi dedim. Hatta şimdi eve döndüm, çok yalnız hissediyorum kendimi yeni kitabı yazarken. Çünkü orkestra 86 müzisyen vardı. İşte eserleri çalmak için, illustrator vardı çizimler için. 4 teknik insanla çalıştım. Çok çalışıyordum. Bunu sevdim bu kitapta dedi. Well, now I'm going to ask a typical question for authors, but where and how do you write? I'm really curious because I'm also a writer myself. I have,
Okay.
published, I wrote 1 novel and 9 self-care books. I mostly research and write how to books. But do you where do you write? What do you have a special time, or do you plan, or you just write whenever you want, or you're
Well,
very organized?
You've written more books than I have. I should probably interview you.
You wrote 7 books that are like worldwide bestseller books and novels that take lots of time. So to write 1 book, I don't know how much effort, how much time do you give to that?
Well, you know what? There's books take between 3 and 4 years for me. At least 1 year, usually 2, is research, and it takes a year or 2 to write the book. I work up. See that door over my head?
Yes.
I work up there.
Oh, okay.
That's a study up there, and it's at the rest of the house is that way. So I'm very far away from whatever else is happening in the house. I start work at 4 o'clock in the morning. I work very, very early in the morning.
It must be dark. It's dark.
Oh, yeah, it's dark. And it's great because, you don't need email or a phone because nothing's happening. Nobody's emailing you. Nobody's calling you. It's dead silent. So I try to create as little distraction as possible, with no internet and phone and all that sort of thing. And I'll work for 5 or 6 hours, and then go and have lunch or get some exercise, and then in the afternoon we'll often just take care of some of the business that has to happen. As you know, when you write a book, there's stuff to do.
Yeah, but when do you sleep?
I go to bed early. I guess I'm kind of boring. I sleep from 10 o'clock at night until 6, or excuse me, till 4. 6 hours. 10 to 4.
6 to 4. Yeah. Okay. But it's still not bad. Not bad. Well, that's how I leave now with the kid, with the baby.
I get more sleep than you do, I'm sure.
But in this 5-6 hours of writing, what's your favorite snack or something? Do you drink coffee to keep you awake, or
I drink coffee. I drink matcha tea, which has a lot of caffeine in it. And I'm always drinking smoothies, just blueberries and spinach, and just a lot of healthy food.
Okay, well, that's cool. And you exercise, you said, every day, right?
I do, yeah. I have a very sedentary job. I mean, I sit all day, so I need to move to stay in shape, and also I love to eat. So, if you love to eat and you don't exercise, that could cause problems for sure.
Yeah, and you look in good shape.
I feel good, thanks.
That's cool. Well, if this book, Wild Symphony, would turn into a movie, you just said, what would be the movie poster tagline? Life is a symphony, go wild.
I like it.
Is there a plan for
Um,
children's movie?
there's been a little bit of interest, but the book is brand new.
Mm-hmm.
I'd
Yeah.
like to see it exist as a book only for at least a year.
Mm-hmm.
But I imagine somebody will decide they want to animate this. There was this wonderful Disney movie called Fantasia
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that came out, I think, in the 60s, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
which was classical music, animations to it. And I see that this could possibly be something similar.
For today's world, maybe after
Yeah,
that.
I hope so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how do you feel when you watch a movie of your books, like your adult books?
Yeah, that's an interesting experience because um, for two reasons. One is you created the story, and it's just sort of strange to see it on the television. But really, the hardest part of that is that it's uh, the the movies are a very small percentage of the books, meaning they
Mm-hmm.
can't put everything in, and so they go from here to there. Like, hey, what happened to that scene where they did this, and
Mm-hmm.
why did you fly straight over there? You're supposed to go over here next. So you have to really understand that it's a different medium.
Uh-huh.
And I was very, very fortunate to work with Ron Howard, who I have enormous respect for and trust. I love his technique, and
Mm-hmm.
he's a wonderful man. And so I just essentially said, okay, I don't know how to make a movie. I'll be a tourist on the movie set,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just watch. And I learned quite a lot watching. Really interesting.
Okay. Şeyi sordum, kitaplarını sinemada, filmde gördüğünde nasıl hissediyordu? İkisi tamamen farklı. Biz romanda pek çok şeyi detaylı bir şekilde yazıyorum ama orada çok hızlı bir şekilde gidebiliyor. İkisi bambaşka dedi. Ondan önce de şeyi sormuştum. Sabah 4'te her sabah kalkıp yazıyormuş. 5-6 saat. Sadece smoothie içerek kahve ve matcha çayı içiyormuş. Daha sonra da bütün gün tabii oturarak bir mesleği olduğu için de egzersiz yapıyormuş. O yüzden böyle fit. Çok da sevdim bu spor tutkusunu da. I also want to ask a few questions about your adult books. My last few questions. All your stories, when excitement and tension finally meet at the climax, rich characters and detailed descriptions make your reader's head spin. In fact, doesn't this tendency make your audience narrower? Because don't you think that narrows the audience? Because you're to read your books, the readers need to have some knowledge of art history, sociology, philosophy, archaeology.
Yeah.
What do you think of this?
Well, I think people are smarter than we think. I think most of us are educated, even if we haven't been formally educated. We understand art, we understand music, we know that the world's a big place. And now with the internet, everybody's traveled the world, even if they've never left their hometown. I don't really think about an audience or narrowing or expanding an audience. I literally try to write the book that I would want to read. And it's that simple. I write the book that I would want to read. And then I just hope that people share my taste. Some of them do, and some of them don't. And that's just, that's the
Mostly
nature
do.
of the, well,
They're
unfortunately,
amazing.
a lot of people do, yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's inspiration. Like, how do you get the inspiration? Do you have like a certain ritual?
I read a lot. I read a lot of nonfiction. I read history and philosophy and technology books. And I travel a lot. And I find that traveling, location for me is a character. So if I write a book set in Istanbul, and I have a scene in Hagia Sophia, well, that incredible building is a character in the novel, and I treat it like a character. And you know all of her secrets, and you know her strengths and her weaknesses and her past history, and yeah, and then I think I typed it to you yesterday that people ask me, of all the places you've traveled, what's your favorite place in the world, and I almost always instantly say Istanbul. It's just, it's the only place that's been the capital of three empires. It is this bridge between East and West. It's spectacularly beautiful. And the other thing, I mean, I'm a little biased because the family that publishes my books at
Hı hı.
Kitaplar are just the most wonderful people.
Hı hı.
And we just had such a fun time the weekend I was in Istanbul, and we just saw so much, had incredible food, just wonderful experiences, the art and the history. And I think that probably helped make Istanbul such a pleasurable experience for me.
Okay, great. En sevdiği, her zaman söylüyorum, en sevdiğim şehir dünyada İstanbul diyor. Hem Batı ile Doğu'nu birleştiren işte köprü, üç imparatorluğu barındıran, Ayasofya'nın gizemleri ve tabii ki yayıncım Altın Kitaplar ve muhteşem bir aile. Çok güzel zaman geçti, çok güzel yemekler yedik. Kültür, sanat çok güzel gezdirdiler beni diyor. İstanbul hakkındaki düşüncelerini de bu anlamda öğrenmiş oldum ve ilham almak için çok fazla kurgu olmayan kitap okuyor ve bilgilerini arttırıyor. How much effort and time do you put into researches while writing? You said 1 year and you travel, but these days you won't be able to travel. And how is your new project, like your new book project? What are you writing these days?
Well, I'm very fortunate that I did a lot of the research before COVID hit.
Oh,
So I
okay.
did all the traveling and I gathered a lot of information. I made a lot of decisions. So I'm writing now, and I can't say much about what the book's about or where it's set, but I can tell you that I may have typed this to you yesterday. I can't quite remember, but that if you've read my novels, you know that Robert Langdon always meets an incredibly intelligent, beautiful woman who knows
Yes.
exactly what he needs to know. He's very, very lucky that way. He always,
Okay.
there's always a beautiful physicist or a, lovely cryptologist. I don't know why he's so lucky, but he is. In this book, it starts differently. As the book starts, Robert Langdon is in a relationship. He's been in a relationship for 3 years. He's very much in love. And the person that he is in a relationship with is a character from one of my previous novels. So there you have it. So that's a little bit different in this new book.
Okay. Oh, okay. Let me translate this. Yeni kitabı şu anda Robert Langdon'ın yeni bir serisini yazıyor. Söylediği şey her zaman o işte çok güzel ve ona yardımcı olan bir kadınla tanışıyordu ve onunla birlikte çözüyordu gizemleri, ona yardımcı olan. Bu sefer hikaye farklı başlıyor. 3 senedir bir ilişkisi var. Çok aşık ve ilişkide olduğu kişi daha önceki romanlarından bir karaktermiş. Şu anda da onu yazıyormuş. Araştırmalarında çoğunu, yani seyahat kısmını Covid'den önce yapmış. I've already asked many of my questions, but do you have any messages for the Turkish readers? And you said yesterday you typed, actually. We couldn't get connected, but you said you're gonna write something about Instagram on your new novel. Is it true, or was the joke?
No, that was a joke because we were all so frustrated with Instagram. And I mean, it may have been a technical problem, or we didn't know how to use it or something, but it doesn't really matter. We're here today. I was joking that I was going to write the Instagram code,
Okay.
but we solved it. So now I don't have to write it because we've solved the mystery, and we don't need Robert Langdon for this.
There's a Mercury retrograde nowadays. That's why people are saying, it affects all the technological equipment, and like people couldn't get connected to their webinars or their live meetings. Do you think that affected also?
You know what? My gut reaction is no, probably not. But I'm kind of a skeptical person. But I've also read enough and seen enough in my life to never say never. It's quite possible that it did have something to do with it, and I just don't understand it yet. But baby steps.
But it was such an experience, and you said passions is a virtue, so it was a very good message once again, and the readers loved it. Well, thank you very much, dear Dan. It was lovely to talk to you, to meet you in person.
Thank you, and the feeling's mutual. It was really great to talk to you, finally, rather than typing to you. And good luck with your 11-month-old child. I hope you get very much for all your kind words.
Well, after 6 months, yes. After 6 months, yes. Thank you. Okay. Dan Brown.
All right.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you. And thank you to your readers
Bye-bye.
as well. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye. Evet, nihayet Dan Brown'la buluştuk. Süper bir röportaj söyleşi oldu. İnanın bakın böyle 4 sayfa soru hazırlamıştım. Hepsini ve daha fazlasını sorabildim. Çok güzel bir sohbet oldu. Bence güzel detaylar da var. Eminim gazetelerde de haber olacak detaylar olmuştur. Bize hiçbir röportajında göstermediği kütüphanesinin odasındaki bir bölümü de gösterdi. Ben çok keyif aldım. Umarım sizler de keyif almışsınızdır. D&R Kitap Fuarı kapsamında D&R Dünyası Instagram hesabında Türkiye'de ilk kez bir canlı yayına katıldı ve Türk okuyucularıyla buluştu Dan Brown. Biz İngilizce yaptık. Aralarda ben Türkçe'ye çevirdim ama bütün röportajı D&R ekibi Türkçe altyazıyla sizler için hazırlayacak. Bizi takipte kalın. Instagram ve YouTube kanallarında yayınlayacaklar. Ben Ece Vahapoğlu. Hepinize iyi akşamlar, iyi geceler diliyorum. Bay bay.